Hey, you ever been to Chancellor Park? That's where I live. My name is Tavin Dillard, and I live in a trailer park called Chancellor Park, and I mow lawns. I'd like to introduce you to my town. I've been making YouTube videos since about 2006, and then I've transitioned over to other platforms like the TikToks and the whatnot. But here on this podcast, I'd like to clue you into what's going on with me here lately. And this is like the pre-introduction. Now I'm going to send it off to myself for the real introduction. I'm glad you joined me. Bink, bink.
Well, welcome to the Tavin Dillard podcast, y'all guys. Season 2, episode 9. My name's Tavin Dillard. I mow lawns. I live in Chancellor Park. This here that you listening to is, in fact, a podcast, which is like a radio show. And I've been playing in a Winter League adult softball season. I've been doing other stuff too, y'all guys. I was on TikTok Lives this last week. Now, you heard of TikTok is like an application on the interweb or on your phone, on your cellular, and TikTok Live is like when you live in person. Like you ain't in person, they see you on the video, but I see your comments like we talking, like you leaving a comment, I'm responding right like that away, and that's fun to, be able to see what y'all up to and what you having for supper on that day or whatever we was talking about. And another way is just text messaging me. Folks been getting at me on the text messaging, and sometimes I'll send you, I try to text everybody back, usually, and then other times I'll send out a whole message to everybody just saying, hey, y'all guys, check this out. This is what I got going on. But that's 501-322-6249. That's my number, but you can just check it in the show notes later if you want to holler at me on a text message. And folks is like, is it really you? And I'm like, yeah, I ain't got no robot. I can't afford no robots, y'all guys, like that away. So here we are, episode 9 of this season of the podcast. How are you doing? How's that week going for you? Me, you ask? Well, I'm doing pretty good, trucking right along here into the merry month of March. Can you believe it? I know. Now, if you've been listening for like a little while or a teeny bit or itty bitty bit, you know that there's this gal Cricket who I've been talking to, and I don't know the state of our relationship, and that's on me a little bit. I'm going to take responsibility for not having a clear idea of what's going on there. And then JT Whitlow a few weeks ago was talking to Cricket, so there I am wondering like, where am I at? What does she think about me? And then JT's over there just kind of flirting it up with her, and I'm like, well, what does she think of him, and what's going on, and why am I so confused? And like he like her, it seemed like, and I'm getting upset. But then I think, well, I ain't really never had that define a relationship, that's in quotation marks, define a relationship talk with Cricket. And JT, he ain't got any idea what I think about Cricket because I ain't talked to him about that kind of stuff, so we don't talk about that. Most things we talk about is trying to get a zip line put together in a trailer park, which is take up a lot of conversation. Truth be told, there's a lot of thinking that go along with that. So at the end of the day, the problem fall on me because I got to handle my part in all this. I get that. The only thing is, the only time I'm seeing Cricket right now is when we run into each other as we working. Like we just happen to run into each other, or she at a job and I'm at her job, and so that ain't really the time to have them kind of talks, because she work right now at the nursing home, and I still volunteer there. And I say once a week. I ain't in there quite once a week so much no more. But we ain't really doing too many real dates. We tried to do one on Valentine's, ended up being on her supper break at the nursing home. Felt like kind of like Meals on Wheels. It's a good date, but I don't know, what the deal is. We didn't have to talk or nothing. It was more like, oh, what you got to do after this? And she's like, oh, I got to, take down the Valentine decorations and, all that kind of thing. So anyways, that's where we are. So she's working at the nursing home right now. I still volunteer there, like I said, but that ain't that often. Even if it is once a week, that's only once a week that I see her. And I'm playing softball at the city fields, and after work on some Thursdays, she'll work the concession stand down there when she's done with the nursing home. So I may see her every other Thursday, every 3 Thursdays. I don't know. They got that bee house honey down there at the concession stands, and that's been getting a lot of traffic. And I tell you why. Because it's real honey, straight from the hive, strained, bottled. They don't cook it. That stuff on the store shelves, they cook so it don't crystallize. But that cook all the good stuff out. Not at Bee House. Tavin's honey from bees, down at the concession stand, and available at the link in my bio. You got to get some of that honey. Put it on a dinner roll that's softer than a baby angel's leg. That's what's going on. But you can do that. but that's what we see. That's the only time I'm seeing her right now, concession stand or nursing home. And I mean, although there are great things you could say about a concession stand and wonderful things you could say about a nursing home, neither one of them would fall in my list of top 10 places to hang out and get to know a gal for a date. That's just me, but right now that's just where it's been. So we ain't seeing each other a lot, and she don't even live in this county. That's my other problem. So when she off of work, she getting home, and I ain't got no car, just a bike. So now you kind of see the problem, how it's looking like that away. Well, I call her this week, and I say to her, hey, Cricket, can we get together and talk this week? You know, not like at a job site, maybe the burger shed. Now, the burger shed was a job site for her this past summer because she was delivering produce from her family farm to Bud down there. And she may be doing that again this summer, even late spring. I don't know. But this meaning ain't for work, what I'm saying. We're going to meet there for a talk, you know, not business. We talking like relationship. It's just me and her at the burger shed kind of thing. Well, she said yes. She said, yeah, we can get together and talk. And I wanted to do it before our Thursday softball game because you know how distractions can really mess up your focus on game day where you ain't seeing the ball right, your head ain't in the game, it's in the clouds, you pull in a Myron Curtis, you know, where you just, your mind's off somewhere else. I didn't want to do like that. And I knowed Cricket was going to be working a concession stand this week at the games. The state of the concession stand is a different story, which I will get to in a little bit. So, it was earlier in the week that she met me down at the burger shed. We sat in my usual booth. It's basically a booth for two. I mean, you can fit two folks on one side, but you really testing the width of that old booth. It's a comfortable two-seater. You've seen it. Now, when me and the fellas are in there, we sit at a bigger booth, but on usual work days, I'll slide in that booth, and that's where Cricket and I had lunch. Well, she was so excited to tell me about her daddy's new bass boat. And since he got a new boat, he gave his old one to her granddaddy. Yes, that's the same granddaddy whose birthday I went to last year and his party, and we ended up prowling around the river with him longer than the party was. I was down there till after dark, and folks had already gone home. Cricket went home. I had to get a ride home from somebody else. I mean, she went home while I was still on the water. Now we got a new to him bass boat. So she's excited about all that, and of course, this is a big conversation to have, so I'm trying to listen. You know, not just think about what I want to say, which was, hey, I'm thinking I'd like you to be my gal kind of thing. But the whole time in my head, I know why I'm there, you know, and I got to try and listen to her story. But I know this ain't a casual lunch. This ain't just just old pals trying to catch up. So there I was. Truth be told, we ain't had a lot of casual lunches. So this is already different. Then I realized she had stopped talking and started eating. So I should probably say something. So here I go. I say, Cricket, there's actually something I wanted to talk to you about. And she said, did your Meemaw die? I said, what? No. I think I would have started with that. No, she's fine. She goes, oh, good. You know, anyways, I've been thinking, you know, at the ball fields here recently, JT Whitlow was helping you with, about that time I say his name, JT Whitlow pops through the door and sees me and Cricket. He's happy, he's smiling, and then he slides into that little tiny booth next to Cricket. Like she had to drop a french fry because he had her elbow pinned against her side. Like she couldn't hold the french fry no more. She's so pinned in there. And there he comes. He's like, hey, country folk, what's the word today? Hey, Cricket, I heard your granddaddy got a new bass boat. What's he going to do with this old one? She's like, I don't know, JT. I reckon he's going to hold on to it. You looking for a boat? I'm always looking for stuff, he said like that away. Hey, let me go get my order put in and I'll be back. So JT hops up. And I know I can't let this go on. So I just say, JT, me and Cricket, we're having a private conversation here that we ain't got to go finish yet. And these booths over here are a little snug for three. Can we just talk with you another time? And JT asked, which we? Me and you? Or me and Cricket? And I was like, me and you, JT. I need to talk to Cricket. And so we're just going to have to catch up with you another time. JT shrugs and nods. Fine, I got your number, Cricket. I may holler at you about that boat. And she's like, that'll be fine, JT, she says like that away. So I felt like we kind of got that sorted out. And so now I kind of laid it on the table in front of JT and Cricket. Now she's looking at me like, oh, this really ain't a casual lunch. And I'm feeling the tension there, y'all guys. She's just looking at me now because I made it clear to pretty much the whole burger shed that I had something to say to Cricket. I'm like, bank, bank. She's kind of looking at me. And she ain't even eating now. So I take a deep breath, and about that time, JT slides next to her with his food. And he's like, so anyways, and I said, JT, what are you doing? He said, what? You ain't had time to talk to her while I was ordering? I said, JT, either you find another booth or you take that order to go. You just said you was going to call on her about that bass boat. Why would you come sit down after you done said goodbye? And he said, because I'm throwing my name in the hat here. In case Tavin is saying that he likes you, I want you to know I like you too, Cricket, and I got your number. JT nods like that, and he marches over to the counter and asks Bud for a to-go bag, steady, looking over his shoulder like he accomplished something, like he looking back at me, like, now what you going, like your move, Tavin, like that away. And then he marches out of there. Oh boy, so Cricket's jaw has dropped in concern and confusion, and she looks back over at me. Tavin, what's going on? Seriously, that's what she said to me. I said, well, JT's kind of onto something there, Cricket. The reason I wanted to get lunch and talk was because, well, me and you, we friends, and we have like a good time together, and well, it just seems like this might be going somewhere. And then she's like, where, Tavin? At this point, I'm done reading her. Like, I don't know if she's mad, if she's happy, if she's overjoyed, if she's overwhelmed, if she's underappreciated. I just have no clue. So I said, Cricket, you want to be my girlfriend? Silence. She's looking at me. I'm looking at her. Then I looked at my Dr. Pepper. I took a drink of that. She's still looking at me. I looked back at her. Then I looked down at my curly fries, and I dragged one through some ketchup. She looking at me. Then I looked back at her, and she like, Tavin, I really like the idea. I said, yeah. She said, I do. But you know, I was this close to getting married just a year ago till he ran off and got married to somebody else. I do recall that, yes. She goes, well, that hurt. And being your friend's been one of the best things for me. But, you know, at this point, the cat was out of the bag for me, so I wasn't trying to delay pulling off no Band-Aid. I just asked, you know, say it, Cricket, but what? You know, that's what I said to her. She goes, but I don't want to get hurt. And I think it's too soon for something. And then she kind of paused. I said, Cricket, listen here, this ain't a marriage proposal. This is just me saying there ain't other girls I want to hang out with like this. That's all I'm saying. And she said, well, there ain't other guys I want to hang out with like this. I said, not even JT Whitlow? I mean, you heard him. She said, I almost thought that was a joke, like you set it up with him. I said, are you kidding? This is one of the most stressful conversations I had in my life. Why would I add JT to the mix? No way. Well, then Cricket kind of laughed, and I asked, well, where's that put us? She said. I mean, that's what I said. I'm just looking at her to see what she said. And she smiled at me. She reached for my hand like that. She reached for my hand. And I didn't have a curly fry in it. I done ate that fry that it was in there. And she goes, right here. That's where it puts us. That's what she said. It puts us right here. So we ain't dating other folks, but we ain't moving fast neither. Works for me. Now I already been looking to save up for a vehicle this year, you know, for work, and also, you know, to see Cricket. Now, since she's a good 30 minutes away in a vehicle, you can imagine on a bike, no thanks. So we talked for a little bit longer, and she had to get to the nursing home. She's working afternoons there 4 days a week right now. And then Thursday rolled around. Well, JT Whitlow, as you know, is on Team Burger Shed. And our last conversation was a little tense back at that burger shed. And Cheryl Grubbs worked a concession stand last week. So Cricket was going to work tonight, and just everything was going to merge. It was going to be what you might call the perfect storm, if any storm is perfect. But JT was coming to the fields, and I ain't seen him since I got on to him at the burger shed. Cricket was coming to the fields, and I ain't seen her since we had to talk at the burger shed. And of course that means I was going to be at the fields, because that's why I was worried about seeing them. Except there was a bit of what you might call a fiasco at the old concession stand last week. You might remember. How so, Tavin? Cheryl Grubbs brought her sick dog that messed in the stand, and Cheryl brought Sloppy Joe's, which by the end of the night was the least sloppy thing in there. Because once that dog Jalapeno got sick, Cheryl throwed up. Her purse got ruined. Box of Skittles got ruined. When we got to the fields tonight, they were discovering how deep the problem really was. I was figuring they'd get on it this week, clean it out. They had to power wash it like at a car wash, but it was still soaked, and it was just not ready for customers or for Cricket or anybody else to stand inside it. Well, then we're looking around. There's like 3 or 4 guys on the other team. Apparently, most of their team left early for a weekend hunting trip. So when the other team ain't got enough players, it ain't a reschedule like when you get rained out. it's a forfeit and you win. But in the Winter League, I don't think we're going to make up any game that got rained out neither. So we got a free W tonight. Believe me, we wanted to play it, but it was probably better. I seen JT Whitlow. I mean, we live in the same trailer park anyway, but I don't always see him. So there we was at the fields, and I told him Cricket and I are dating right now. Then Cody Mantell told JT he should meet his cousin. Well, JT perked up, thought that was a good idea. Her name's Whitney, and she happened to be there hanging with Lindy Ray, Cody's wife. So JT was off on a new adventure just like that away. Cricket showed up with crock pots because she goes all out on her concession stand shifts. And I told her what happened before she even unloaded her car. I was like, hey, hold on. Cricket, they had a thing, I don't know if you know about jalapeno last week, but that thing got tore up guts, and in turn it tore up the concession stand, which tore up Cheryl's guts, which she proceeded to throw up all over the place. It was a mess. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but a mess. They power washed that thing. It's dripping wet. There ain't nothing you can do. You can't go over there. I don't even know if there's going to be a game tonight. I know we done forfeited, or we won the forfeit. And she's like, well, what should I do with all this chili and cheese? I said, well, we could go back to my trailer park, just serve up nachos. I'll run by Rickard's, get some chips. And so we did. We got back to my trailer park, Chancellor Park. JT was there with Whitney. Lindy Ray, Cody Mantell were there with their daughter Daphne. Well, we set up them nachos on the card table. Folks helped himself. JT showed up his new design for a zip line between our trailers. He kind of got it drawed out, and he kind of was hanging it in between the two trailers to show how it'd go, kind of thing. Meemaw sniffed out the nachos too. She shuffled out of her trailer. And there we were, at least part of our team, celebrating another win for Team Burger Shed. I mean, we didn't do much. But sometimes all you got to do is show up. Ain't that true? Sometimes all you got to do is show up. So now we 5-2. That's 5 wins and 2 losses. And we should be well rested for next week. I mean, I'm glad I didn't have to play no games after eating them chili cheese nachos. Wouldn't have done it, Wouldn't have done it if it was before the game. I already know that. Myron Curtis, he don't have necessarily the self-control strength or even the learnedness yet to say no before the game. It's because a lot of times these fellas are coming straight from work. And Myron, he drive a snack truck. He delivered them chips and bean dip, and folks call him bean dip like a nickname. I just call him Myron Curtis. But, so he's around them snacks all day, and he can come straight from work just tummy rumbling, and he'll say yeah to whatever they got coming out of that concession stand, for better or worse. So that's how that go. What a week, though. I finally figured out this friendship with Cricket, and we got another W. I mean, that's how the way it looked for me is that's a pretty good week. I mean that's a real good week. And I was talking about them nachos even in town this afternoon, and I seen Jerry Don and Sybil Farnhart. They run the flea market in town, and they just went on a vacation. Sometimes they'll take these little day trips out of town, just to get away, take a break, because that flea market's running all the time. Folks, they're always getting the new items in. They got a lot of customers. Folks know they got good stuff over there. Thigh Masters, Branson mugs, all kind of things, pillows, all kind of things you may want. But they went to Texas Roadhouse and she loves them hot butter dinner rolls. They bring out that bread, I guess, over there. I ain't never had a sit down there, but they did. They went for a sit down vacation meal kind of thing. And she's shy, like my Meemaw, she ain't shy. My Meemaw will go to a restaurant if they have them breads, and she'll say, hey, can you bring me 3 to-go boxes stacked full of them buttered breads? Because I want to take them home with me kind of thing. Well, Sybil Farnhart ain't like that. She kind of thought, I didn't want to ask for no more bread. So she just took what was on the table and she shoved it into her vacation britches. And Lord, that was covered in butter. And Jerry Don said, Sybil, you ain't got no paper around them. You're going to stain your vacation pants. I can't guarantee them stains aren't going to come out. She goes, well, I just panicked because I had them hot butter dinner rolls. I wanted to get them home. I didn't want to eat them yet. And so she had to get home. I don't know if any of them stains came out of her britches, them vacation pants she had on, but they did end up eating them rolls, he said, and they just had to put a little more butter on them from now home, but they put them in the microwave, popped them in there, and Jerry Don said it was just like straight out the oven, from the Roadhouse that they went to. And so there's a lot going on, in town, people finding they different eateries. I found nachos. Jerry Don and Sybil found them hot butter dinner rolls. And if you need one, maybe you want to put some honey on it. Tavin's honey from bees. Thanks to Bee House for sponsoring this episode of the Tavin Dillard podcast. Check the link in my show notes for how to get some of that honey for yourself. My face is right on the label. And I'll tell you one thing, if you ain't had to power wash a nasty concession stand this week, you're doing pretty good. I sure hope you enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. I have to tell you, it's been a real good week for me, as you have heard. Thanks for joining me on the Tavin Dillard podcast. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bink, bink.